Hello and good morning to everyone in attendance today. I understand there has been an incident recently that happened in Florida because of the Hurricane Milton and Helene has sparked a lot of controversy as well as media attention surrounding in that needs to be addressed. Before I begin explaining what happened, I like to introduce myself and representative in attendance today as well as their roles within our government or country. First of all, my name is Hilfizul Fivenzulfi and I am the Secretary of State in Florida.
Hello, my name is Zarahani Binti Muhammad Rashid. I am the chairman of the board of the American Red Cross Organization.
Hello, my name is Amir Rahman bin Ahmad Zarin, and I am the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Human Health and Services.
Hello, my name is Sharat Haida, the Associate Administrator of External Affairs of FEMA.
First of all, before we start, I like to state we are being asked to hold this conference online as states from government officials to ensure our safety in order to spread the info needs. Now that's out of the way. I would like to talk about what happened in Florida on October 9, 2024. Hurricane Milton, a Category 3 storm, made landfall on Florida West coast with winds reaching 120. The storm brought widespread destruction across the region, including several flooding, storm surges, tornado, and power outage, affecting the millions of homes and business in Florida. Tragically, Milton has claimed at least 24 lives, adding to recent devastation caused by Hurricane Helene, which result in significant destruction across Florida and other southeast states and took the life of at least 227 people. I also have been informed by the Defense Department that the National Guard soldier helping those people involving help from the MN to in Florida as well as the region that was also been hit by those Hurricane Milton and Helen. Furthermore, I will pass to Shadat Haida to talk about FEMA.
Hello. First of all, I would like to say sorry to the victims that are involved in the hurricanes from the past couple of weeks. I am Shada Haida, Associate Director from External Affairs or FEMA, like I said earlier, and I would like to state that not only was the military involved in assisting in this hurricane crisis, I, as representative of FEMA, would like to say that we have also involved ourselves in this hurricane crisis to help the people affected, and we are in the process of giving them aids, with the cost of the aids totaling up to around $344 million.
All right. Moving forward, I would like to acknowledge that while FEMA provided assistance exceeding $344 million, as the chairman of the board, I want to highlight the significant contributions we received from various organizations and companies to address this crisis. Notable donors who supported our efforts for the hurricane victims include Amazon, American Airlines, the Caterpillar Foundation, McDonald's Corporation, and the Starbucks Foundation.
All right. Uh, we at the U.S. Department of Human Health and Services, our first action to help with the hurricane has been to declare public health emergencies within the states most affected by the hurricanes. This means states including North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and Florida. These declarations were done to enable the Department of Health and Human Services to provide greater flexibility and resources to healthcare providers, ensuring that the increased demands for medical supplies and services could be met during and after the hurricanes.
It also been reported that over 11,000 National Guard soldiers and airmen were conducting Hurricane Milton and Hurricane Helen relief mission in the southeast Sunday, helping first responder and victim by air, land, and water. The helps that they were more focused on are the centered in the hardest hit area of Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee. The assistance also continued in Virginia, I also been informed that most of those guys rescue hundreds of people threatened by flooding, clear roads, distribute food, water, and other vital supplies, provide security, directed traffic, even provide much needed help to resident reeling from the damage caused by the storm. Resources include 2 helicopters, 590 hard water vehicle, and 13 boats.
Alongside that, FEMA responses, as well as the aids that we are going to be providing, our agency is actively working alongside state, local, and tribal partners to assess damage and support for those affected by Hurricane Helene. So far, FEMA has shipped over 17 million meals, nearly 14 million liters of water, and 210 generators. Apart from that, FEMA Disaster Survivor Assistance Team are on the ground meeting with survivors in neighborhoods across the affected states to help them with assistance and connect them with additional state, local, federal, and voluntary agency resources.
Moving on, the recent report from my teams indicate that over 1,770 individuals are still residing in shelters across the impacted states. Disaster health volunteers are attending to minor injuries and assisting with the replacement of essential items such as eyeglasses and medications. Additionally, mental health volunteers are offering support and comfort to those affected. Furthermore, numerous Red Cross response vehicles are actively delivering hot meals and as well as water and supplies to individuals working to restore their homes. Through collaboration with our partners, we have provided approximately 2.3 million meals and snacks, along with more than 100,000 relief items, including cleaning and hygiene supplies, to thousands of families in need.
Healthcare providers have been facing a big shortage of IV fluids after Helen has impacted a Baxter International manufacturing plant that makes up around 60% of all the IV fluid that is distributed in America. So we have been keeping open lines of communication with healthcare providers and leaders, working with both private and public partners to try and support the constrained supply chain, while we also work to bring back the Baxter supply chain to full operational capacity. At the same time, the Food and Drug Administration (FDA) has been working with Baxter to identify alternative manufacturing sites, including potential temporary imports of supplies. We have also been working with medical manufacturer B. Braun Medical to transport their supplies of IV fluids away from a plant in Daytona Beach, Florida, as a preemptive measure to secure the medical supplies as Hurricane Milton threatened to further disrupt medical supply chains.
As well as that, to be more specific for each region's aids that we gave over at FEMA, FEMA has already approved approximately $142 million for Florida's recovery for Hurricane Helene's incident and preparation for Hurricane Milton's landfall on the Gulf Coast. The Gulf Coast, sorry. For Georgia, we've approved 59 million for around 76,000 households for financial support. For North Carolina, we have approved approximately 60 million in housing and other types of assistance for nearly 52,000 households. As for South Carolina, FEMA has approved over 77 million for nearly 97,000 households. FEMA also has approved more than $5.1 million for disaster distance for over 900 households in Tennessee. And finally, FEMA has also approved over 1.3 million for over 700 households in Virginia.
I also been informed by our secretary from Department of Health and Human Services (HHS), Mr. Baker himself said the declaration of public health emergency for Florida on Hurricane Milton would be provided by the Administration for Strategic Preparedness and Response (ASPR), with approximately 100 responders, along with medical equipment and supplies. He and the department also said that the ASPR deployed personnel, including expert for NSPR, Incidents Management Team, and ASPR Region Emergency Coordinator, who are integrated with Federal Emergency Management Agency (FEMA), state health authorities, and emergency response officials to anticipate and assist the state in meeting public health and medical needs.
To be more specific about our teams in these incidents, in Florida, there are more than 90 disaster survivor assistant members going into neighborhoods and 10 disaster recovery centers that are opening where victims can speak to state and federal personnel to help with their recovery. Excuse me. In Georgia, there are more than 120 survivor assistant members going to neighborhoods, and a disaster recovery center is open. And as for North Carolina, for their staff, we deploy our teams more than 1,000 FEMA staff that are currently on the ground, with more arriving daily. Nearly 400 urban search and rescue personnel remain in the field helping people. Anyway, for South Carolina, there are nearly 50 disaster survivor assistant members going into neighborhoods to connect with survivors without cell coverage or power. And lastly, for Tennessee and Virginia, we deployed our staff around 20 to 30 disaster survivor assistant members going into neighborhoods to connect with survivors without cell coverage for power. And for the important part that in North Carolina, we noted that shelter numbers continue to decline, with 17 shelters housing just more than 700 occupants, and over 2,600 people who cannot return home are staying in safe and clean lodging through FEMA's transitional sheltering assistance. For the power and cellular restoration in North Carolina, we already deployed 8,000 crew members to restore more than 90%. And by commodities, FEMA is providing commodity distribution, mass feeding, and hydration operations being underway in areas of North Carolina. FEMA commodity shipments are en route to support operations. This mission on North Carolina is also joined by voluntary organizations which support feeding operations with bulk food and water deliveries coming via truck and aircraft. And thanks to the Salvation Army, which provided 20 mobile feeding units supporting the massive operation and giving emotional and spiritual care to survivors. We also have the American Red Cross to thank, as they are also engaging in targeted distribution of emergency supplies in low income communities with high levels of minor or affected residential damage. So, from FEMA to the American Red Cross, Zarahani, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We have also sent over 400 Health and Human Services personnel to affected areas to help with search and rescue operations, a number which continues to grow in addition to the responders who are already there in the affected communities.
I think that will be all from us. However, there were some reporters that have actually came in and messaged personally for specific questions, specifically for Amir Rahman, who specializes in safety. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So with this hurricane happening, the reporter specifically stated, let me just take a look again what they have asked. They have specifically asked, uh, the next time a hurricane is happening, uh, as well as evacuating, what are some other things that we should do to maximize the possibility of our safety? That is what they asked.
Other than evacuating, I would say that the things that we should do to maximize our safety is, first of all, the homes that we live in. We should prepare them for the hurricane so that we don't come back to destroyed homes and damaged buildings and debris that can very much cause a lot of issues after the hurricane is already over. That, as well as making sure that pets and animals aren't released at all,
Mm-hmm.
so those don't pose a threat to the local ecosystem. I would say that those are two pretty big things.
Right, right. I see. And another question that we were asked: is there any country that were there any other countries that were helping with assisting with the hurricane incidents? Hilfi, were there any other countries?
Yes, it have. It actually is have like five another country helps the residents, but the most of biggest country help is Canada. They and all the five countries we collect that like 300 million dollars
Hmm?
to help those people who involved in that hurricane incidents.
I see. I see. All right. Hopefully, the reporters are satisfied with those answers. We apologize for our inability to make a physical press conference due to our own safety and wanting to provide the information we needed. But that will be all from all of us, unless anyone else has anything to add. No?
No.
No. So that will be all from us. Any questions? We have our lifelines that you can contact us at. And that will be all from us. Thank you.
Thank you.